Hello, everyone. Good morning. Hi, Nono. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Very good. We have a sunny day today, so always good
Awesome.
when we have a sunny day, right? Okay, and today in our live, today in our talk, we are going to talk about those mindful pauses, those moments so important, but so many times we don't pay attention to that or we don't do that in our favor. And I'd like to share with everyone watching us how we could use it in our daily life for special moments, or if we do it inside our routine to take advantage of those pauses. So, first of all, if you want to start and explain what are those mindful pauses, especially related to the breathing techniques? Because this is the subject of the moment,
All
right?
right. Yes, yes. Those pauses that we can do during the day are essential for your well-being. Okay, mostly for your mental well-being, because um, we have so many things happening at the same time, 24/7. So if you don't pause, you feel overwhelmed, and that's 100% sure that you're going to feel overwhelmed somehow. So when you disconnect and you pause and you center yourself using, for example, breath work for that, it's like hitting the reset button on one of your gadgets. Okay, it's not operating well. Go to the instructions manual. Say if the problem persists, turn off and turn on again. It's kind of what it does to our brain, to our cells, when we pause communicating to the outside and then we communicate to the inside, and it just feels that you put everything in the right place. You pause, you center yourself, and then you feel more equipped for the following challenge. So it's great.
Yeah. I was talking to Larissa, our partner, and she's also a neuroscientist. And I was telling her that my feeling when we do this pauses during the day or before some important moment, that my feeling is that I am cleaning my mind, I'm cleaning my brain for the next moment. And she said, you know what, this is exactly what happens, we are really cleaning our brain. uh, so many times we don't pay attention, obviously, uh, to our mind, to our thoughts, to our brain, to everything that is looping inside, like our computer, that are so many windows open and you don't know what's happening. Sometimes this happens to our brain as well.
Yeah.
And it's really important to stop, to close all those tabs, to recharge it a little bit, to rest a little bit, and it makes a huge difference in our day. Like, you are in this crazy rhythm and then you stop, you breathe, you organize, you clean, and it's so simple and so powerful to do those things. You are a teacher and a practitioner of this methodology for so long that people like us, we already use it without even thinking about it, without giving it the, like, we take it for granted. Sometimes it's so incorporated in our daily life that we forget to teach, and
Yeah.
it's so powerful. Do you want to start saying the moments of your day that you do that, and also if there is any specific exercise that you do, or if you just stop and bring your attention to your breath?
Okay. So I tend to do that before my commitments with others. For
Mm-hmm.
example, so if I have a meeting, if I have a live, if I have a class to give, a workshop, an interview, whatever, I will try to find a moment before that event to do my pause. Okay, like arrive early so you don't need to rush. Okay, I'm going to give a very simple example. Uh, one of the classes that I teach, it's at 6 p.m. here in Portugal time, Lisbon time. And I love to vacuum before the class. It's
You're talking about your brain or the floor?
the floor. I'm talking about the real dirt, okay? And it just give me, I feel so grounded by doing such an easy task, but at the same time is caring for the students that will do the class. It's not I cannot describe how satisfying it is to do that, because you need to be offline. The vacuum will do some noise. You cannot vacuum and watch your phone. So it is one task that you do only, and it takes a couple of minutes, okay? And those 2 minutes are just, I'm vacuum the floor and vacuum my mind at the same time, okay? But besides that, I like sometimes to do a relaxation. It helps too. Okay, like if I'm tired, feeling exhausted, I rather stop and do nothing and relax. But if my goal is to increase my productivity and stay sharp, focused, then I do breath work. So I have a bunch of options depending on what's happening next. Okay, so vacuum because I like to care about my students. So I think it's a caring moment for them to do that, and for me, it's great to disconnect. If
Mm-hmm,
I'm
mm-hmm.
tired, I always the first thing is coffee, but then I say no, probably it's not coffee. Maybe you just need to relax. Those 5 minutes taking a coffee, maybe you can relax instead, and you'll be more useful. Okay, that I need to train myself daily.
And at the same time, this is I think it's this moment where you switch. Okay, I'm not going to think about the email that I have to answer or the task that I need to be done, but I'm going to prepare to give the best class I can. So I
Yeah.
think this switch inside your brain happens at this time as well.
Yeah.
And you are one of the few professional demonstrators of choreography that we have, like in Portugal, maybe you're the only one. Do you, and it is relatable maybe to a professional presentation, or it could be the same level of stress for a regular person as a championship or a challenge. Do you use any specific? I know you because
Mhm.
I follow you, but do you use any specific exercise, breathing exercise before you go on stage?
Yes, yes. I do abdominal breathing. It's my
Mm-hmm,
my go-to exercise.
mm-hmm,
Um, because the adrenaline, it's crazy. It elevates your stress and your excitement at the same time. So it's not very cool. We can get addicted to that sensation of
mm-hmm,
high levels of stress and high levels of excitement at the same time, which is uh, a cocktail of emotions. And so the abdominal breathing helps me to center myself and to disconnect in a good way from distractions, even from thoughts. And then I do my belly breathing. And at the same time, I review my presentation in my mind. So I do a mentalization of the whole performance as kind of a final rehearsal, mental
mm-hmm,
final rehearsal, doing abdominal breathing. When I go on
mm,
stage, that's what I do. Yeah.
nice. When I do some presentation, when I have a presentation to do when I'm going to talk to people. Some exercise that I really like to do before I start my presentation is the square breathing. So another option, because the one that you just explained is really good to lower your stress level, right? In my case, what I want to do, what I want to awaken is the focus. I want to be really focused, not be disturbed by anything when I'm doing my something like 1 hour presentation or so.
Mm-hmm.
So my tip is going to be do a square rhythm, like inhale in 4 seconds, hold the air in 4 seconds, exhale in 4 seconds, and hold the air in 4 seconds. Of course, not just once, like it's not enough. At least 5 minutes. Put your alarm and execute 5 minutes of square breathing. And you're gonna notice that your mind will be quiet but not so relaxed,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to be sharp minded to do the task or the presentation or the pitch that you need to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And do you have in your routine, for example, if you work 8 hours a day, 4 hours in the morning, four in the afternoon, you were talking about the coffee pause. Instead of a coffee pause, do you have a breathing pause that you do in your daily routine just to clear your mind and be more focused on the rest of your day or on the rest of the period of work?
Yeah, I what I tend to do, it is to do nasal breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It is something that I try to do that I know that keeps me centered. It's kind of a ongoing exercise uh, in multiple things. Okay, even when I'm teaching a class that we talk a lot, so that means you cannot only breathe through your nose when talking because your voice needs air to produce the sound. But I always try to do the nasal breathing, and sometimes it's just that. Okay, conscious
Mm-hmm.
breathing, like I'm working on a spreadsheet, it's not working fine, I need to refocus, close my laptop, I just do conscious breathing and it helps. Okay, for me, it's enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that the alternate nostril for some people are the technique that really triggers that, gives that boost of focus and emotional balance that we want. Okay, and if it works, that's great. For those who don't know, alternate nostril, you're gonna breathe through both nostrils, alternating with your lungs full. So inhale through the left, hold your breath, switch, exhale through the right, inhale through the right, hold, switch, exhale through the left, and so on. Okay. It became quite popular nowadays. It's a great exercise. If I need, I do that. Okay. Like for my practice, for my classes, usually that's one of the techniques that I like. It just in the right moment of the class just puts your mind in the perfect mindset to continue to savor the practice. So that's amazing. But for me, conscious breathing most of the times is enough. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
close your
Mm-hmm.
tabs, close your laptop, stop, close your eyes, breathe, few deep breaths, and then okay, I can do this. Refocus, open the laptop, and work on your spreadsheet till it's done, and it's done. Okay, so that's good.
And it's always good to remind that if you don't understand what we are saying, or if you do something and you think it's boring or anything, just call us, send us a message, answered our messages or anything, because I always remember of that case that we had this student and she was in the trial period, and you asked her, how is it going? And she said, you know what, it's annoying, I'm not liking it. Then you just said, okay, what you don't like? And the fact was, she was not being able to follow the class.
Yeah.
So she couldn't experience the whole class. So it was being boring for her. Not because it is boring, but because she wasn't being able to follow. So if you, okay, it's something's wrong, call us. A good teacher can make a huge difference in your life.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it applies to anything, but also to breathing, to meditation, to yoga, or anything. So please, you can keep in touch with us.
Yes.
And beyond the pauses, I'd like to talk about the breathing, the vital function that breathing is, and the fact that we breathe without paying any attention to that. We breathe all the time. We have the feeling that, okay, I don't need to pay attention. I don't need to improve that. I'm already doing it, so it's good. But we can improve the breathing. We can take more advantage of that. You want to talk about the regular breathing and a conscious breathing in your daily life?
Yes. Yes. So the way that we teach our breathwork techniques most of the times is to optimize the process. It has a lot of good side effects, as we know, but if we are able to optimize this biological internal process, that's great. So that means uh, the way that we can measure the success of breathing or how good or how not so efficient it is by the amount of gas interchange that happens per cycle. So if I'm able to tweak my breathing to improve the gas interchange, so that means getting in oxygen and taking out carbon dioxide, you are uh, you are improving your health. Okay. For example, if my breathing is very short and in a really small amount of air getting into the lungs, your body will run in stress trying to do the best the body can for the gas interchange. They have a small amount, and imagine, like, guys, we need to work fast, and it's not efficient. That's why some of us that breathe just through the top of the chest uh, tend to feel tired more often, okay, or fatigued because of that, okay? The body is working under stress. So imagine the opposite. Instead of just using a small portion of the lungs, we are using the full portion of the lungs. Apparently, you can have more air in your lung sacs for the gas interchange, which is a great thumbs up. And if you are not breathing fast, or if you're breathing slowly, that means you're giving time for the body to do the job, okay, with no stress.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that is why sometimes lots of people say that breathing deeply, it's calming, because you are reducing a specific part of stress of your body, which was not good, was under stress, and then suddenly you give uh, another way of breathing, and suddenly stress goes down because they don't need to rush for the gas interchange. They have time. Your body have the whole time to do the job efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
So when we do that, we think, okay, so if I do deep breathing and slow breathing, so increasing the duration of the breathing cycle, are two great ways to optimize the process. Okay, of course we can go deeper in other details, but I think this main idea is great to have when doing breath work or when you do a strategic pause. Like, I'm tired, I'm stressed. What can I do to reduce my stress? I can breathe deeper and slow down the rhythm of my breath. That will optimize the gas interchange. That means you're going to have more availability for your brain to consume the oxygen. So apparently you are giving amazing tools for your body to surpass stress.
And there is always the base for this knowledge. One of the bases, we've been doing that for more than 30, I have been doing that for more than 30 years. Like the
Yeah.
ancient yogis are doing that for more than 5,000 years. But recently, James Nestor wrote a book talking about that, talking about the finds of science that say this book, Brad, exactly. And in this book, James Nestor shares with us all the knowledge, all the research that he made. And one of the most impactful information that I got from this book is that, differently from what we thought, our lifespan is more related to our breathing capacity than with diet, genetic, or exercises, because we always did that in order to live longer and better. And it's important. But science found out that our lungs capacity have more impact in our lifespan than all those other factors. And it's kind of mind blowing for me,
Yeah,
right?
I think my perspective on that subject, even when we teach breath work, mostly for newcomers, we say we're going to learn how to breathe how the newborns breathe. Okay, kind
Mm-hmm.
of how we used to breathe. So I think my perspective, we should be breathing this way since we were newborns, since we were toddlers, since we were kids, and never losing it. But because we lose our lifespan. So if we are able to solve that issue and improve breath work, we are expanding our lifespan again. So we're going back to the natural way of getting old, because we are breathing the way that we should, not the way that common sense kind of pushes us to breathe just using the upper chest and breathing through the mouth and all that stuff. Okay, so I think it's when we stop using, we we got death closer. But then when we relearn and we push the limits again, so I think that's my perspective on that point of view that James Nestor shared in his book.
It's our interpretation.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good. And going back to something you already said a few minutes ago, and sometimes you are listening to us and then you're going to do something else, anything else, and you just forget about it. And when you are the peak of your stress, you're gonna, oh, I remember that fan. No, no, talked about that, and I have to stop and breathe, but I'm so stressed out. Now it's too late. I want to give one exercise for those moments, because all of us, we are under stress all the time. We are we are not able to just don't live. Like, we cannot just live a life without stress. What we can do is to manage our stress. So this is the exercise that I want to give before we finish, based on a knowledge by Dr. Sarah Lazar. She's from Harvard University. And what she found out, for me, it's just incredible. There is this fact that everyone knows, that When we are stressed out, we change dramatically our way of breathing. We do, we just use the high part of our lungs. So we have a short breath, a poor breath. So the stress really impacts our breathing. This is, everyone knows that.
Mm-hmm.
But what she found out that's really interesting is that this way is a two-way path. So the same way our stress or the stress we are under influences our breathing, the opposite is also true, or which means our breathing can work on our stress levels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what does it mean? If you notice you are stressed out and you are having this high lungs breathing, you can stop. Bring your attention to your abdomen. Inhale and exhale through the nostrils. And your stress level is coming down. When you do this exercise, your stress comes down. So, whenever you notice, okay, I'm too stressed out, stop. Okay, I need 5 minutes break. Go to a quiet place. Bring your attention to your abdomen. If you can, if you have a bed or something, you can just lie down. If you don't, just sit, close your eyes, your hands on your abdomen. Inhale and expand the abdomen. Then exhale, and your abdomen comes in. Try to do this for 5 minutes and try to expand your lungs capacity at this moment. I know you're stressed and you only have 5 minutes, but this is going to help you to manage your stress. And I would say more, it's going to bring you more clarity to deal with the cause of your stress. So, no. Do you have any tip or you want to add anything to this exercise that I just suggested before we
Yeah,
finish?
yeah. The When you mentioned that, for example, you're stressed or you're anxious, which is kind of the similar reaction that your body has, and you start breathing through the top of your lungs, right? Um, Sometimes we don't know that we are stressed or anxious, but breathing will give you the tip. Sometimes you're just like, imagine you are in a meeting and then subject and then that subject and then that problem and it starts to build up and you start to accumulate that stress or that anxiety, but you're not aware of that emotional state, but your body is, and your body will start breathing that way. So sometimes we identify that we are stressed because of breathing,
Hmm.
not because we know that we are stressed, not
We
because we
don't
know that
have
we
the
are anxious.
we don't have at the time the self-awareness to understand that.
Yes, yes.
So you are suggesting to pay attention and to see because it can be a signal of this stress.
Yes, yes. Which is great. That way, you notice that you're breathing that way. So you're stressed or anxious, quite sure, and you try to interfere moving the breathing down to your abdomen. Okay. So you can
Mm-hmm.
change breathing, so you can change the emotional state, then you can overcome the challenge that you have in hands. So, this path of stress, breathing, calmness, if we can say it this way, it is something that happens every day in our lives. Okay, so that's the only thing that I would like to add is sometimes we are so overwhelmed with other things that we don't see ourselves as stressed. Even your best friend can ask you, "Hey, are you stressed?" No, 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 I'm good, I'm good. But your breathing is saying the opposite. Okay, so just to add the awareness of that emotional state can happen by itself or by the reflection on how you breathe and then applying what you just mentioned, and it's bulletproof. Okay, it always works.
Perfect. So I think this is what we had for today. Thank you, Nono. Thank you,
uh,
everyone. Bye bye. Have a mindful day.
yeah, bye bye.